everyone, it's Mary Blocker with Mary's Stampin' Cafe, and thank you for clicking on to my Finding Inspiration Friday video. I am really inspired by all of the just basic stamp sets by Stampin' Up, where you don't have to spend so much money on buying dies or punches or all those kinds of things. But what's absolutely wonderful about the Sentimental Swirls stamp set, not only is it a two-step stamp set, which is so much fun, but it has sentiments for many different occasions, and it has some coordinating punches that go along with the flowers and the leaves, which is so great that you may have with some of your other Stampin' Up products. So I'm really inspired with this, and I have a specialty class. I have the link below. Today is kind of last day to register for my Sentimental Swirls specialty class, where you get to create 5 projects utilizing this stamp set. And hey, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I would love to have you as part of my Stampin' team. All right, here we go. Sentimental Swirls, fantastic. It has those great, like I said, two-step stamping where you can put your color right in with the stamp pad and with markers if you would prefer. So great things there. So let's go ahead and set that stamp set aside. And let's see, I have thick white cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have layering Granny Apple Green for the outside at 5 1/4 by 4, as well for the inside. And then of course 5 3 3/4 for the outside and inside, because I don't just dress the outside of my cards, I dress the inside as well. So I have a couple of scraps because there is some die cutting that's going to go on, and I'm going to set aside a lot of my materials because this could get a little messy. So I have a acrylic block that I'm going to be doing some coloring on and using as a background here. Stampin' Up also has the watercolor shapes, where there's lots of great stamps that already have all that kind of shading in as if you watercolored. It's really wonderful. I'm not using that today just because the sizes of them aren't quite what I'm looking for. And so having just a block works out perfectly. So I'm going to start with Granny Apple Green, Stampin' Right marker, and Stampin' Right markers are fabulous. They are a water-based ink, which makes this a lot of fun. For this, I am going to be spritzing with water, so watercolor paper would work out just fine. This is thick basic white, and thick basic white works really well. It can hold the water a little bit better. And this is Stampin' Up Spritzer. You get 2 spritzers in a pack, and I've put some water, and I'm simply going to spritz 1, 2, and maybe one more far away. We'll see what that gives me. I'm going to come here to the middle of my card, and I'm going to just go ahead and stamp that down. Press it down, as when I pressed you could see all of it kind of spreading out, and then I'll pull that off. What I can do is I can come in with a tissue, and if I don't like those blots, I can just blot them out. And now you see I have a Granny Apple Green. Well, that color just doesn't show very well from my camera. I'm going to wipe this off quickly. Now I'm going to bring in Magenta Madness, which is a fantastic bold color. And I'll run this along the block. It's a nice bold color. It pairs along well with Granny Apple Green for sure. All right, so another spritzing opportunity. There we go. Bring my card back in, turn this upside down, think about where I want it, and press, and just see how that just bleeds right over and smooths out. So pretty. And I'll pull that off, and I see I have a little bit blotches going on, and so I will blot that out just like so. And I have another line of color. Now these will turn out differently every single time. just depends on how much of the ink from the Stampin' Right marker you get on there, or how much water you put on there. Now this is Pale Papaya. It's a little bit of a softer color, but it actually can be very complimentary. Now Stampin' Right markers, you can buy them in color groups, or you can buy the whole package of all of the Stampin' Right markers in a nice case. That's the way I go, because I like to have all my things in one place. And then I'll go ahead and put this right down. There we go. There, nice. I'm just going to blot a little bit. And there we are. As I see, I'm not quite centered on the paper, so I may just trim that off. I'll grab my trimmer because I do think I want to do that now. So I'm going to trim off a little bit of excess. That will take me to 3.5. So I think if I'm going to go 3.5 there, I'm going to come down. Or that was, I'm sorry, that was 4.5. Oh, and I just want to keep things even. Just going to take a little bit off this end as well. There we go. There. All right, so now this is a little wet. So I'm going to take a look at the inside of the card. And I'm going to get the Memento ink pad. Going to ink that up well. Photopolymer you can see really well. And I'm just going to put a swirl there. And I'm going to put a swirl coming from the top opposite corner. There we are. Very nice. I'm going to adhere this down. And then I think I'm going to do a couple of little butterfly. Now things are staying in the black tones. So we're going to keep it in the black tones on the inside as well. When you glue down your layers, I always try to have whatever I'm gluing it to here so that I'm not getting any of this from the mat on my project. There we are. Doesn't that just make the inside of the car look luxurious? I love that. Okay. Well, I think this has sat out long enough. So let's go ahead and do our stamping. Now, I'm going to be keeping things kind of in this bold colors and black. I just think that's so great, having black play off of bold colors. I just love it. That's gonna stamp just like so, pressing down. And isn't that beautiful on that background of bold colors? I just think it's great. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the hello right on here. Ooh, and I have it on the block very crooked. There we are. And that's going to go just right there. And I'm going to have a butterfly right with it. Ooh. There we go. Now, let's do some floral. Some flowers, and I'm going to grab a leaf. Just having some fun filling in. My goodness, Mary. I'm using a little bit too large of a block for the stamps. You want to try to have as close to the size of the block as the stamp. There we go. I like it. Isn't that great? All right, now what we're going to do is, there's a couple ways you can do this. I want to have a stitched rectangle here with the hello raised up. Now, in order to do that and save a little bit of paper, I could die cut right from here. I'm deciding not to do that because, well, I'm using the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And what's going to happen here is, you notice my die is too long for where I stamped this. So I'm actually just going to die cut the larger rectangle and then the smaller and stamp it again. It just didn't quite in the size of what I wanted it to do, and so I'm going to do it the standard way. Back on this so you can see a little bit better. All right. So now I have the standard Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I can put this on here. And then I could put this right next to it and do it all in one run through the machine. There we go. So it's a great strategy that you can do, is cut right from your main stamped image that you have, and you're saving paper a little bit that way, and you're making it look like it's part of that layer. But a way that I like, and I usually do. Let's come back in. Is that I go ahead and die cut out the whole thing. So I'm going to re-stamp hello. I'm going to give the butterfly to it again. Cute. Butterfly is very cute. So let's just glue that here. This set is so perfect. I'm getting so excited for springtime. Our weather here has been quite cooperative in that. It's been in the mid 40s to low 50s, which is nice. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and think about this here. I have some Magenta Madness grosgrain ribbon here that I'm going to go ahead and tie around. You can also use the newest In Colors ribbon here, which is this pretty sheer edged ribbon. It comes in polished pink, which would be quite a great match for this. I find that the Magenta Madness is kind of close to polished pink. It's really nicely coordinated together. Now we can go ahead. What I've done is I've done a false wraparound that helps to save your ribbon. And then I'm simply going to cut another piece to tie as a knot here. Oh my goodness, get up there. So now when I tie things in a knot, I'm going to go ahead and twist this around. So see how that knot is now a nice rounded, and then I can tie it tight. There we are. And now this is going to raise up with dimensionals. It is so fun to sit and create and be inspired on a Friday. Isn't that great? Now, one of the things I'd like to do here is I would like to tie in things that are, I'd like to give that butterfly a color, and I think I'm going to give it this color. Now I have to be careful. Memento ink will bleed with water-based ink, so that you want to remember. What I'd like to do though is kind of come in, darken in these flowers with the color that they have, that they're on. So for example, these flowers are in the Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to darken them in and the leaves with the Granny Apple Green. And the leaves over here are going to fill in more with the Pale Papaya. And then I have one leaf over here that's going to go and darken in with the Magenta Madness. Isn't that brilliant? Now I just thought of this. Butterfly should be the magenta color, so I'm going to come in here and do that. So now we have kind of the darkening of those flowers and things. And I'm going to give a little bling to the flowers with these little guys right in the center of those flowers. And one more right here. This little guy's center is showing too. There we are. Now I'm going to add one more right down here in the corner just to pull our eye, just like so. Very nice. I like that a lot. Now let's bring the base of the card in and finish up this fabulous inspirational card today. Now what I like about this card so much is I use the thick basic white background, and now the tag that says hello is tying right in and bringing it in. So nice. I love it. And when I open up, I've got a fantastic thing here as well. Now these butterflies I am going to color in, but I am going to use the Pale Papaya just because putting the bright Magenta Madness in here would be a little harsh. It works on the outside of the card because I've got the Magenta Madness, but in here it would just be a little shocking. So there we are, cute little butterflies and the swirls. I can write my note right inside. My bright, colorful card front with that great technique of using a block and your Stampin' Spritzer with some water. Well, there it is. There is my fun Finding Inspiration Friday video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Be sure to check out the links below, and the host code listed is current for Tic-Tac-Toe Club and any other orders this month. So thank you so much for joining, and until next time, happy stampin'.